So we began this project in 2002, which is still running now, 8 years later, called the Shifting Baselines Ocean Media Project. And I'm sort of the director of it. And what it is, in some ways, it's a workshop for me to kind of hone these skills of filmmaking. And it's a partnership between all these ocean conservation folks and then all my friends and contacts in Hollywood to make films. And over the 8 years, we've done a whole variety of short films and some humorous films, some kind of serious issue-oriented short pieces, and then 2 television commercials that have gotten wide exposure. And so just to give you a little sample of the kinds of films that I make, I want to start by showing you both of these 1-minute pieces. So the first one is a thing we did in 2003, and it was to try and just start to experiment on how to reach the big, broad audience with a somewhat serious message from the world of science. And what we did was put together this bad symphony for the oceans and had all these conservation groups that were partner groups with us help kind of everybody donating all their celebrities the best we could, their comic celebrities. So it ended up being a symphony of 20 comic actors all playing musical instruments they didn't know how to play, called the Ocean Symphony, and the conductor is Jack Black. And we released it in fall of 2003. And let me just show you here, and I hope this will play. All right, any chance we can bring the lights down? Overall, it might help with doing this, but here we go. Let's see what happens.
Elegance, beauty, grace, precision. We expect this from a symphony, especially in the hands of an absolute genius like this. We would never accept this level of quality. So when it comes to our oceans, why are we willing to call this beautiful when it used to look like this? It's called the shifting baseline. We're forgetting how the oceans used to look. To learn more, visit shiftingbaselines.org. Before the oceans end up like this.
Okay, what do we think of this? We're switching microphones here. And is that clear? Loud enough? Okay, so yeah, there you have it. So that was our first big-time experiment in mass communication, and we hired a distributor called Banyan Communications. They packaged it, sent it out to 1,000 TV stations, and ended up airing over 300 stations, and basically scored over $10 million in free airtime. It wouldn't cost us that much if we bought the airtime, but being a public service announcement, it was aired. And that then led me to, that one was a fairly innocuous piece that was just meant to kind of use entertainment as a medium to kind of reach just a tiny little message about something's going on with the oceans. A year and a half later, I began getting involved in the issue of marine protected areas in the California coast. The communication campaign we put together is completely unraveled. Nobody was doing anything. So I said, in the absence of anything else, at least let me make a television commercial that will anchor fishermen, at least get a response out of them, and make somebody talk about this issue because it wasn't being talked about. So that led to this next one, which is also 60 seconds. And boom.
So what'd you catch?
Hit the mother load today.
You've got to be kidding. Do I even need the gauge? I haven't seen fish this big in years. Okay, it's not this bad. But ocean fish today are not as big as they used to be. It's a problem, but there are proposed solutions, such as MPAs, underwater national parks. Do they work? To find out, visit shiftingbaselines.org. Before we end up like this.
You think what I'm thinking?
Okay, so that was which of this? Okay, so that was the second one, and just really quickly before I even get into the whole assessment of inconvenient truth, to run through those 2 spots, I'm just sitting here right now realizing they illustrate the 4 elements of 4 chapters of the book. So the first of which is don't be so cerebral. And that means to come down out of your head with a little more emotion and humor and things like that. And both of those spots touch on that. They both use humor, and actually the second one's got even a tiny bit of emotion and hitting that moment of what we've lost from the oceans. Second chapter of the book is Don't Be So Literal-Minded, and those are both not very literal-minded spots. They don't have a whole bunch of science and information and knowledge. They're related to a science issue, but really they don't get so deep in there that the audience disconnects on what is this. The third chapter is called Don't Be Such a Poor Storyteller, and the second piece there actually does tell a little bit of a story with this fishing boat that's just come in and the game board. The first one didn't tell much story at all. It was just a bunch of celebrities. And the fourth chapter is called Don't Be So Unlikable, and I think something just dawned on me. I remember back when we made that Ocean Symphony, the interesting thing about that was we originally tried to cut it together using the actual production sound that all those people with their band instruments made that day, which was this horrible cacophony. And when you watched it with that, it was really unpleasant. You never would have wanted to see it again. And so we ended up having to weave in there the melody of da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and that smoothed that out, made it a little more tolerable and likable.